like,
Bro, when have you ever
analogies.
seen in the future that there is a discrimination on a minority of individuals and the end result is that the minority of individuals were the ones that were in the wrong? When have you ever observed that?
I was talking about hormone blockers and their negative effects on children, and no one can say that they don't have long-term effects because we
That's
have not
going
been
in
to
the
the future
opposite
yet.
direction.
We have. Shalom, good sir.
Hello. How you doing, American? What would you like to discuss?
I saw it. I gotta make sure I say it correctly. I don't want to read it wrong. And then, well, which one was it? Something about if you're anti-trans, you're right here. If you're anti-trans, you're a transphobe.
That's correct.
I don't. Oh, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, so basically if you're anti-trans, as in you are you dislike the identity of trans people, if you argue against trans people in a negative way, you are hateful towards trans people, which would make you transphobic. Yes.
So so if you disapprove of their behavior, that makes you a transphobe?
Yeah.
How?
I just explained it. You do not
No,
like their
you
behavior.
didn't.
You do not like their identity. And so that would make you transphobic. Yes.
How does that make you transphobic?
So when you establish a hatred towards a group of people based off of their characteristics, you specifically said their behavior, that would mean that you're transphobic.
So hatred and disapproval of not just their behavior, but lifestyle, if you want to call it that as well. I don't believe that makes you. How are you transphobic if you just disapprove of their lifestyle? You're not hating them, like.
You just happen to dislike their lifestyle, their life and the way they live it. If only they would stop with the living of that lifestyle.
Yes, if only they would, come to Jesus Christ and, be what God intended them to be when He when they were born with a brain, and as a gender of one or two genders.
That's transphobic.
It's not transphobic.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
No, it's not, because where's the hate? There is no hate. Hate would be like,
you just disapprove of their entire lifestyle. It's as if I said that I wish every single Catholic would stop being Catholic. I hate Catholics, and then go, oh well, I don't hate Catholics. I just disapprove of everything about them. What?
Because trans people isn't it's not a thing.
Wait, you think it's not real?
It's not real. It's just it's
so let me just get this clear.
The only way it's real is that it exists as like a mental illness.
Okay, so you believe that it exists as a mental illness. Is that correct?
Yes, and a social, some social thing, fad, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
All right, so let me. So, is it possible for someone to have to grow up with different hormones in their brain than what is neurotypical of their sex?
No, it's not possible.
Not possible. Doesn't exist. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia, not real. Endocrinology, not real.
See, you're trying to confuse two different things.
No, I'm asking you, right? I'm saying, is it possible to have different hormones in your brain than what is neurotypical? Right? And you said, no, that's not possible. However, there are known conditions that do exactly what I just said, which are listed in endocrinological fields. Endocrinology is the study of hormones in the human body, right? Which would include the brain. There's also neurology itself that also supports this very same research. And so you saying that it does not exist is antithetical to the reality.
All right, well, we've moved past the topic of whether or not being anti-trans makes you transphobe.
Well, you said it wasn't real, right? You said it wasn't real, right? And I'm telling you it exists at an endocrinological level, right? And if you agree that it is possible for someone's hormones to be different in their brain than what is typical of their sex, you basically agree that trans people are real.
They're only real in their own little worlds they live in.
What?
They're only real in the little worlds they live in.
But I'm explaining to you
mind.
how this is observable endocrinologically speaking.
No, it's just not. It's a delusion. It's a mental illness, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's okay.
I'm gonna be
it's
in.
okay to be mentally ill.
I'm gonna be in like the reality world where I'm like following the psychology and the neurology and the endocrinology and the biology, and you will be saying that it is not real because you are a transphobe.
It doesn't make me transphobe.
Yeah, it does.
At all.
You are denying people's existence under basis of your hatred of their existence.
How am I denying their existence? They're obviously.
You literally just said in this debate that they don't exist, that they're not real. It's all in their head. You literally just got done saying that.
Yes, it is a mental illness, the condition they're going through.
What?
But to say that they don't exist
at an endocrinological level. Do you understand what I mean by that?
I do understand what you mean by that, but that's not what I'm. No, I'm not. It's a mental illness. It doesn't. It doesn't happen at an endocrinological.
Did you know
level
that there are trans people that don't have mental disorders?
Yeah, and I am well aware of that, and that is another concern.
Okay, so is it possible to be trans and it not be a mental disorder?
My bad, I got a phone call. What'd you say?
Is it possible for someone to be trans and it not possess a mental disorder?
Well, see, it depends on which definition of trans you're going to use in that point. Because, like, if someone wants to be transgender, quote unquote, like they want to transition their gender or whatever, anybody could do that. Anyone, you could go do that tomorrow if you wanted to.
Based.
There's nothing that is not based for one, and two, there's nothing stopped because it's just why would you do that? You're insane if you would want to genitally.
There are people that don't have any mental disorder. Well, you don't even have to get bottom surgery in order to be trans.
Even your top.
What?
Even just your
top. You don't have to do that either. Not everybody does that. Just so you know.
So I can be trans right now. I can just be trans without having to put in any of the fucking any of the extra work.
If you felt that way, if you genuinely felt that way,
I do right now. I do right now.
You do really? You do
at this very moment. I do right now.
All right. Why don't you tell me about it then? Tell me about your feelings as a trans person.
Well, you know, my friends tell me sometimes, like, American, you act like a girl. You know what I mean? Like, I just get little jibber jabs like that, you know? Like,
do you like being treated as a girl?
Acting like a female. Yeah, do I like getting treated as a girl? What kind of question is this?
Do you like it?
I honestly don't give a shit.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could just live your true self, American?
Bro, I'm literally just talking about fucking banter between friends, and I'm clearly being sarcastic here. Like, I'm just letting you know that that's how I am validated in my transitiveness.
Okay, so taking it seriously, right? You can't really easily act this out, I feel like. I feel like it's something you genuinely feel.
Oh, no, yeah,
right?
You definitely
and like the fact that I'm telling you, fact that I'm telling you right now, it's like you sat there and said that you were trans, and I sussed out that you're not trans within about 2 seconds.
Well,
right?
Because
it makes you uncomfortable to have the idea that you're seen as a woman.
I haven't had enough time. I just haven't had enough time to put the thought and effort into it.
Well, I look forward to you coming out as your true self, American. I really do. I will. Don't let your Catholicism stop you.
When I do it, it'll be on your debate stage, which is actually, when I'm trans right now, you know what I mean? But when I'm fully able to express it in a way that you'll accept it, because clearly you're bigoted and you only accept certain trans people as real trans people, I guess.
Huh? No,
It's
no.
just
I
some
just think
kind of
I think
like
that like when it
who are you
comes
to put
to
the definition of what a
yeah, yeah.
trans
So when it
person is
when it
or
comes
not?
to like a phenomenological experience, and what I mean by that is like your internal how you feel. Only you really know that, right? Other people are not going to be able to know
Exactly,
how you feel
exactly. So
internally. And so, like if somebody said that they felt that way, you know, I mean, I can ask them the questions like I just asked you, right? And be able to determine pretty quick, if they really are trans or if they're just trolling, right? And so, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I'm okay with people who just want to socially transition. I don't necessarily need to require like the medical community. I tend to take a more medical look at it in the sense that trans people do in fact exist at a medical level. Is it possible that trans people are doing this on the basis of like a social thing? Yes, probably. Yes, that would not surprise me. With the increase of the internet and phones and social media, it's absolutely a factor to consider. I, however, would not invalidate these people under that basis. I hope that helps.
you wouldn't invalidate
I
these
would
people?
not invalidate those people. That's correct.
That's wild. So anybody could think that they're anything, and you would not invalidate it.
Well, specifically with trans people, I would not know.
Is it? Why? Why are you so protective over like what? I don't understand. Like
I got
you're
to tell
being.
you, out of when it comes to one thing that I care about more than anything, it's the inalienable rights of individuals. And historically speaking, there have been many instances where people invalidate the inalienable rights of life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, which is the basis of the American Constitution. It has happened many times where we have removed the inalienable rights of individuals without merit. For example, we did that to the Japanese during the Second World War. We discriminated against them, took away their property, and put them into camps under fear that they could attack. And we also did it towards communists or communist sympathizers who were peacefully protesting. And it was also done towards minorities such as blacks and Hispanics, even in today's day and age. And anytime I see this kind of behavior, I really, really don't like it, because I think that a better society is reached when people's inalienable rights are respected, right, as opposed to eroded or degraded. And when it comes to transphobia, which is the current or the trans thing, I look at the inalienable rights of these individuals and laws specifically being done to discriminate against trans people, which is a fundamentally un-American position to hold. That's what I think.
Laws that discriminate against trans people?
That's correct.
I'm not aware that there's
In the state of Florida, we do not give gender affirming care, and it was initially done specifically towards anybody that was under 18 could not get gender affirming care. Mind you, just so you know, gender affirming care
based.
can be something as simple as it could be something as simple as just simply social transition through the psychologist, which is honestly, that's where like about 90% of all the cases even go, mostly because a lot of it is just kind of like what you said, a social thing, right? Which is fine. Okay. Socially transition. You don't need to take any hormone blockers. You don't need to take any HRT, but again, that's a discussion between the psychologist, the doctor, the parent. However, after they had passed that law and created the framework, they then subsequently banned hormone replacement therapy in the state of Florida beyond 18.
Based.
They did it beyond 18. So that, right, is specifically a discriminatory law, right? I'm not even saying, oh, you have to pay for their drugs. I'm simply saying they ought have access to the drugs if it's deemed medically necessary. And you're saying that's based. But you also said that there was no law that was discriminating against these people, but there are.
I think that's more so. I say it's a law that's preventing people from doing harm to themselves by using prescriptions on purpose.
That is a discussion that ought happen between the doctor and the patient. That ought not happen under the basis of a politician who knows nothing about endocrinology.
That's why I disagree. You shouldn't be giving these type of things to children. There's
I know
long-term
you disagree
effects.
with that. However, that is not the medical consensus. Okay.
Yeah, well, the
So
medical consensus on a lot of things is very immoral and degenerate. So, you know, that that doesn't make it any more okay in this state.
respectfully disagree with you there.
I mean, you can disagree all you want. I mean,
It's also
I'm just saying,
transphobia, but yeah.
it's not transphobia.
Why are you so upset at that
I'm not upset. I
definition?
just because it just the word phobia being attached to like something like it's just like if you don't like anything, then you might as well be called a such and such phobe. Like, you don't like fucking, greenhouse
Well,
gases.
so
You're a
what's happening
greenhouse
is
gas phobe.
it is
You're a
a fear or a hatred towards trans people. You have exhibited to me fundamentally
okay.
because initially, right, when I was telling you about the anti-trans legislation, given the fact that it was going to minors, you said that was based, and then I said beyond minors, right, not minors, as in full-grown adults. You still said based. That literally means you don't give a fuck about those kids. You don't give a fuck about trans people, and that's what makes you a transphobe.
Oh, I do give a fuck about those
No, you
kids. That's
don't.
why
You
that
don't.
law is
Trust me,
based.
you don't.
No,
How do you
I
feel about
do.
no? Really, you do. You do care about
I
kids.
do.
How
I
do you
do
feel
care
about How
about
do you feel about
kids.
the Second Amendment?
How do I feel about the Second
Yeah. How do you
Amendment?
feel about the Second Amendment? Yeah.
The Second Amendment is based.
Yeah. 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 Do you think that there ought not be any restrictions on handguns?
No,
Okay. What's the number one killer of children in the United States currently?
doesn't matter.
No. No. No.
Anything.
What's the number one killer of children in the United States?
Probably guns. I'm going to
It's
assume
guns, isn't
here is
it?
what you're going to
It's
say.
guns, isn't it? That's
So
not
what?
that you're not. That's not. By the way, that's not my assumption. That's provable. That's the reality, right? More than cancer, more than
No,
car accidents.
it's
That's the
bad
reality.
faith.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you this very basic system, right? If right that the number one killer of children is not in fact drag queen story hour or trans people, but is instead firearms, and you don't want to do anything about firearms, then you don't give a fuck about children. You
I
don't.
do give a fuck about
Right?
children.
It is
No, that's
you are
just bad. You're
applying
bad faith, and
hypocrisy
you're trying to
at its
appeal to
highest
emotion with
order.
that.
This is the highest order of hypocrisy. No, because
No,
you
it's
said
not.
that you care about the kids, but you don't. You don't. You care about your ideology. You don't care about children. Because if you did
What
care about children,
ideology?
then you would likely want to have some reasonable restrictions on guns so that way people don't die as much, especially kids.
People die every day, Amender.
You know who I read that somewhere. It was actually a quote from Mao Zedong in 1969.
Oh, okay, interesting. I don't really care. Based. But no, just because I mean, who's killing these children with these guns?
Other people with guns.
But there's other factors that come into play than just that.
What I'm simply pointing out that you don't care about kids, right? Again, it's about not the kids.
I don't
it's about
care about-
hating
do you care about
trans
kids?
people. Yes, absolutely.
care
Yeah,
about kids?
I think that there ought be reasonable legislation in order to curb children from dying. Right? I think that we should have we should treat guns more similar to that of licenses or like similar to that of owning a car. Then I think that it should be like the way it is right now. I absolutely think so. Yes, I don't think that people shouldn't be able to own a gun. I just think responsible people should own a gun. Right? It's that simple for me. And this idea that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed is a joke.
I don't understand. So, do you drive a car, Amender?
I do.
Because you do know what is it? The second and third cause of
Cars?
death among children and teens? Yeah, cars. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you drive a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing anything to you know, are you proposing legislation to somehow make these children safer from
Yeah.
cars, vehicles on the fucking road.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Are you? When do you advocate for this, and how have you
Yeah,
advocated
yeah.
for this?
Yeah, yeah. So like I'm perfectly okay with stoplights. I'm perfectly okay with big yellow buses that have big stop signs around it that you're by law required to stop for when they stop. I believe in very strong crosswalks. I believe in creating a people-centric system where we don't have like this constant commute going back and forth, increasing car accidents. I'm in favor of speed limits. I'm in favor of lower speed limits, especially where children play. Yeah, absolutely. These are all things that I would be in favor of.
Okay, so what are you doing to make this happen?
I
What
mean,
are
are
you
you
doing to
saying
make
that like, I mean, I've protested if that's what you're asking for. But no,
you
me myself, I don't have a whole lot of power. I mean, outside of my words, and hopefully other people get on board with me.
Ayo, that's pretty crazy. I just think your argument's bad faith, man. I think it is. You're trying to like throw a blanket statement out there like you don't care about kids, and then try to like all of a sudden shrink it down to like a single topic. Like that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
It's very disingenuous.
is it?
It is. It's
And you're
very
not a
disingenuous.
transphobe, right?
No, I'm not transphobe. I have no fear or
Hatred.
hatred
You don't
for
have any
trans.
hatred, right? You just don't want
No,
them
there's
to
no
exist.
hatred. They don't exist. I can't hate something that doesn't exist. For one, two.
Okay, transphobe.
Even if it was a thing and that they did exist, like I wouldn't be afraid.
What is this?
I wouldn't hate them.
This is so gross. You got anything else?
How is this gross? Why do you use the word gross?
It's
for
gross.
one?
It's gross. You're denigrating a
You're a
group of
grown,
people
you're a
that
grown-ass
apply their
man and you're using the word
identity.
gross.
Yeah, it's
That's
gross.
crazy.
You're gross.
That's
You're
wild,
gross.
bro.
Icky.
That's wild.
Ew.
Icky,
Like
bro.
you're like slimy. Like if I touch you, like
Slimy.
this green
Pause.
thing of slime will
Ayo.
come out.
I'm gone,
Like
bro.
bro,
That's wild, bro.
gross. These discussions are insane, bro.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, American. What did you want to discuss?
I'm looking at your list right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see what can I find. What's this? Calling people pedophiles is the witch hunt of our time.
Yes.
Can you explain what you mean by when you say that?
I think that like it's very, very common that a person who is not a pedophile will get told that they are a pedophile, and it freaks everybody out. And then there sometimes can become giant investigations that are based on nothing.
You think this happens at that level?
Sure, it happens to people. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
I
especially
don't.
on Discord, you'd be amazed. Like, I mean, I specifically at my job, I had people accuse me of that. Completely false. I still have that job, thankfully. Another example is I know that the owner of this server had dealt with saying that were given pedophile accusations. Also false. I guess like my problem is like it's so easy for people to just do that and then cause all sorts of drama that ought not be there, right? It's just kind of like a witch hunt of our time. All you got to do is just call somebody a pedophile behind their back, and all of a sudden you got a ton of drama. It's so easy.
Oh, I don't know. I don't hear about it like that enough to know. I just know that I think we are catching more pedophiles every year than we have at any other point in time.
I'm about to die. Hold on. Did I just? Please don't die. Please don't die. Please.
What is it?
Sorry, I'm
is that
playing.
too
I'm
much
playing.
for you, or
no? I'm sorry. I'm getting hit by these
Hmm.
guys, and I just need to not die right now. All right, sorry. Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
I said I don't see this like I don't know. I've never seen it that way. I don't think that I don't know. I've just never seen it on that level before. I guess so. I
Okay.
don't think it's
Have you
the
ever
witch
been
hunt of
Have you
our
ever been
time.
accused of being a pedophile?
No,
Never.
no.
You're very lucky.
Well,
Piss off the wrong.
you-
I think if you piss off the wrong left winger, you will absolutely have that problem on your hands.
Well, I mean, people say that I abuse children, but not in that way.
Mhm.
You being one of those people, Amender.
Yeah, I do believe that spanking is child abuse. Yes.
Yeah, no, you're just factually incorrect there, but we're not going to go there. But no, I would say that I couldn't say that this is the witch hunt of our time because I mean we are catching pedophiles, sex traffickers, sex offenders at a higher rate than we ever have before in human history.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't catch pedophiles, which is fine. I just think that like there's a lot of false accusations, which causes people. I mean, there are people that end up losing their job as a result of something, even though it's completely false, right? Just the fact that there's even any amount of problems. There's HRs that they don't care if it's true or not. They'll just fire you. Thankfully, that was not my job. They investigated and they find nothing, and they're like, okay, you're cool.
I mean, that can go for a lot of things, though. You could say anything about somebody.
Sure, I'm
you
just
could say,
saying
"Oh,
that pedophilia is the
American
thing."
made a quote-unquote transphobic comment while he was smoking a cigarette with another coworker. Next thing you know, HR is calling me to the office to fucking terminate my position at work.
Did that
We could
happen to you?
No, but I'm saying it could happen, and I know it with the
Yeah,
way I
I
know
think
my
if you're
company works.
Wait, hold on. Do you think that hold on, I'm just curious, right? If somebody was being racist to black people in the workplace, do you think that person should get fired?
If they're being racist directly to somebody in the
If they're being
workplace, yes.
discriminatory towards black people, yeah, they should be fired, right? Okay.
So like if two people
if
are
they're-
outside on their
let me ask you this: if
people-
they're discriminatory towards trans people, that's not.
You're literally
I'm asking.
changing
Is
it up. You're
No,
you're
I
switching
know.
lanes.
I'm
You're switching
changing it.
lanes.
It doesn't matter if I'm changing it. I'm saying you said that they should get fired if they're discriminatory towards black people. Now I am asking, okay, what if somebody was discriminatory towards trans people?
Now you're trying to talk to me about people that don't exist once again. But again, mental illnesses are
Well, they
protected by the
self-identify
Americans
as
with
trans,
Disability
and,
Act.
you know.
So I mean, well, they are protected by the Americans with Disability Act. To be fair, so I mean, with that logic, I mean, but at the same time, should somebody get fired for saying, like they were smoking a cigarette, having a conversation with a coworker, and Joe Schmo happens to be walking by and overhears. I was watching, swapping through channels yesterday, and I saw one of them tranny drag shows. Like, should Joe Schmo be able to run to HR and say, I overheard Americans say this. I don't know any other context of the conversation, but I heard him say this. And then HR, all of a sudden, American, we need you to come to HR. It was reported that you made a very, very dark, derogatory comment. We're not going to tell you what exactly this comment was or anything like that, but we just want to let you know that as of now, your job is terminated. We want you to go ahead and turn in, your badge and your vest. Actually, you know what? Just keep it. We'll just make new ones anyway, and we'll deactivate it when you leave. Have a nice day, sir. Like, do you think this is how this shit should work?
Well, I think that if somebody is being discriminatory towards trans people, you should absolutely get fired at your job. Zero questions asked. I personally believe that the Civil Rights Act and just basic worker rights, it ought extend to trans people. And thankfully in most states it is, but it's not a federally legislated issue. But I 100% think that they should absolutely be a protected class completely.
I just think trans people should be a protected class.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're discriminated all the time. And so it should be by law that you are not allowed to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Just like how that's by law, you can't do that to black people, to people on the basis of their creed, their color, their sex. Yes, completely.
That's wild. I
It's
mean,
not.
you literally have
It's
children
it's a
getting
very
hormone blockers, bro.
lukewarm. That's correct, because what I like to go for is what is the medical
I thought
consensus of something, and so then I
even
listen to
even if the
what the
medical
medical
consensus
consensus
harms
is.
children, even if the
You
medical
don't know
that
that.
you
You're
claim
not
to care,
educated
I
on the
do know
subject, and so
that.
no, you
I
don't.
do
No,
know
you
that. I
don't. You
do.
don't know that.
I've been to
You
the
don't.
future. I've seen what the long-term effects are, okay? You haven't, and your medical consensus haven't either. So, long-term, this is not going to be good, all right?
I've been to the future, guys.
Yeah, you don't understand, like,
Bro,
you
when
know,
have you ever seen
analogies.
in the future that there is a discrimination on a minority of individuals, and the end result is that the minority of individuals were the ones that were in the wrong? When have you ever observed that?
I was talking about hormone blockers and their negative effects on children, and no one can say that they don't have long-term effects because we
That's
have not
going
been
in
to
the
the future
opposite
yet.
direction.
We have
But
not
you
been in the
said you've
future
been
yet.
to the
where we-
future, haven't you?
I was being sarcastic when I said I've been to the future, so no, I definitely know
I've been to the
the long-term
future.
effects of this shit. Well, I haven't been to the future, and neither have none of these doctors or any of these fucking
Yeah,
medical
just like those
consensuses.
long-term
So
effects on that
leave the
vaccine, right?
children alone. Leave the children alone. Like, you're literally putting children on hormone blockers and you're killing them.
You realize that we have done no, actually it's the opposite. There are trans
No.
children that have gender dysphoria, that absolutely have suicidal ideation from their puberty, and so they give them hormone blockers, so that way when they become 18 they can
Is
make
it
an
normal to
educated
think
decision
about-
as to whether or not they want hormone replacement therapy. But again, that's a discussion between the doctor and the kid and the parent, not some random politician, and not you, American.
I do, actually, because my vote matters in this country,
What?
and you can't
All right,
just.
well, hopefully, like, I don't have, like, the 2024 version of Archie Bunker voting in 2040. I hope that maybe you, like, pull yourself out of this, like, weird transphobic kind of thing, and you'll
There's
realize
nothing
that you should be
transphobic
more
about what I've just
accepting
said.
of
I have
people.
no fear of trans people. I
Yeah,
have no.
we've already gone through this.
Well, I'm just saying.
We're just
you can't
gonna
keep
agree to
throwing the word
disagree.
transphobic around, and like at this point, you're just throwing it around as
Because
a
that's
way
what
to
it
shut
is.
down
That's
the
what you
conversation.
are. No, but
it's a
that's what you
projection.
are.
At this point, it's just a projection. You're trying to
What?
shut me
No,
down
it's
by
not a
using your
projection.
liberal buzzwords.
I love
and you're
trans
not going to
people.
do that.
Trans people are great. I think
I love
trans
trans
people should
people
have
too.
as
I love
much
trans
rights as
people
physically
too.
possible. I believe hormone replacement therapy, that should be, I'm sorry, hormone blockers, that should be available for children should they need it at a medical basis. Yes,
Yeah,
I
so should
think so,
Marlboro
right? Because the
cigarettes too,
studies
and
show that.
Newports
The
and
actual,
lean.
the NHS shows that. So does the APA. It shows that. So does the Mayo Clinic. It shows that. The leading authoritative sources show that. The biology textbook shows that. The neurobiology textbook shows that. The endocrinology book shows that. The psychology book shows that. The sociology book shows that. They all show it. So at what point do you eschew your nonsense for reality?
Because when I go outside and I try to see all these things that they're telling me they're trying to show me, I don't see it out in the real world. I don't. I only hear about it on Twitter, and I only hear about it in this Discord server. This shit is so like I can't just believe the medical consensus on things that I don't even fucking see. Like, that's wild. That's why
If they
you're just
don't
gaslighting
exist,
me at that point.
If they don't exist, then why? Then what has a mental disorder?
What do you mean?
Does it have a mental disorder?
What's it?
Trans people.
Yes,
You said
have a
they don't
mental
exist.
disorder.
You said they don't exist.
Yes, it's a
right?
mental illness.
So what
and
has
there's
a
nothing
mental
wrong with that.
So what has
There's
a mental
nothing-
disorder?
The person.
So they do exist.
As a person, yes.
So trans person exists.
No, see, you added that part. I didn't add that part. You added that part.
All right,
Person with mental
well,
delusion
agree to
exists.
disagree. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, like, I'm showing you the wall, and I'm showing you it's a brick wall. You're like, that's not brick wall. That like stone and plaster, but not brick wall. I'm like, bro, look at it. It's a brick wall. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, we disagree on what's right in front of you.
Because you talk about children, bro, and I can even like the statistics of the suicide rates that go down when they receive hormone blockers, because they don't. They actually go up. Let me see the statistic.
What statistic? What are you looking for?
Suicide rates go down when they receive hormone blockers.
Sure. Give me 1 second, okay? We'll read it together.
Yes, we'll read it, and I will pay attention while you read this, because I'm sure there's some key words in there that need to be addressed. And can you post that in the side chat too as well?
Will do, buddy.
I'd like to see what you're reading from.
All right. Suicide-related outcomes regarding following gender-affirming treatment. A review. Gender-affirming treatment remains a topic of controversy. Of particular concern is whether or not gender-affirming treatment reduces suicidality. A narrative review was undertaken evaluating suicide-related outcomes for following gender-affirming surgery, hormones, and/or puberty blockers. Of the 23 studies that met the inclusion criteria, the majority indicated a reduction in suicidality following gender-affirming treatment. However, the literature to date suffers from a lack of methodological rigor that increases the risk of type 1 error. There is a need for continued research in suicidality outcomes following gender-affirming treatment and adequate controls for the presence of psychiatric comorbidity. This is a meta-study. You're not going to see a specific rate.
I want to see the rate. I want the rates. Yeah, I want the rates. Just give me the rates and give me the ups and downs.
Sure. Give me a moment while I find that.
Because it's irrelevant if there's no rate.
Sure.
It's not sure. It's okay. I guess it should be. We should agree that I would probably say it's probably higher than probably 70% that they commit suicide before or after they transition.
Literature to date reveals concerning trends regarding suicidality in transgender individuals. A high prevalence of suicide attempts and thoughts of suicide occur in transgender youth compared to cisgender peers. Transgender U.S. military veterans have more than 20 times the higher rates of suicide-related events than cisgender veterans. The prevalence of suicidal ideations and attempts varies by sample, with the prevalence of suicidal ideations sometimes as high to 50 to 75%. Rates of attempted suicide risks peak 30% and above. One longitudinal study of over 6,000 transgender individuals in the U.S. indicates the highest risk of suicide among those is those under.
It's not about hormone blockers.
Hold on.
No, because that's just you're trying to fucking dodge past the fucking point. You're gish galloping, and then you ain't gonna do that.
Hold on. I have to find the exact percentages. Give me a moment, okay? I'll provide the following percentages, but just give me a second, okay?
I just want to see the rates. I don't want to hear all the nonsense. I want to see that. I want to see it. There should be a chart. You know, usually they with these studies they post charts. You know, there should be a nice line that goes down horizontally as time goes. But, you know, we talk about the significance of the passage of time. I mean,
results. So, online survey of 288 U.S.-based transgender adults via the Transgender Stress and Health Study bivariate of multivariable mixed effect logistic regression analysis was used. Participants were asked if they ever had a history of suicidal attempts or thoughts of suicide as a dichotomous variable before gender-affirming treatment prior to initiating unspecified gender-affirming treatment. 73.3% of the sample reported to a history of suicidal ideation. This percentage has dropped 43.4% following the initiation of gender-affirming treatment. Prior to treatment initiation, 35.8% of the sample reported a history of suicide attempt, and 9.4% reported a history of suicidal attempt after initiation of gender-affirming treatment. Okay, reduction. Now what?
Oh, you haven't shown me any rates for one, and two. This
I
isn't
literally just
simply
quoted
referring.
you the
This
rates.
this literally isn't just
I
referring
just
to
quoted you the
hormone
rates.
blockers.
Now
It's
what?
not specific to
This
hormone
is gender
blockers.
affirming treatment, right?
It's
Gender
not
affirming care.
specific to hormone blockers.
Gender affirming care
It doesn't matter.
regards
I was
not
talking
just
about hormone
block.
blockers.
Yeah, it works for hormone blockers. This is the case also for social transition. This is also the case of
Well, I was
HRT,
talking
right? It depends on
specifically
what
about
stage you
hormone
are. It
blockers,
depends
though.
on how old you are. It depends on what is going on in your life, right? Again, that is a discussion between the
That's not
doctor
what I
and the
asked
patient.
for. That's not what I asked
Yes,
for,
it is.
Yaminder.
Yes, it
I
is.
said,
It's
where are the
all
rates?
bundled in. It is all
Where are the
bundled in.
rates that
Oh my
kids,
God.
children?
Does
No,
it
where are the
does
rates-
gender?
where are
okay,
the rates
here's
of
the thing.
children going
I
through
heard you say,
puberty
hold
and
on,
hormone
stop,
blockers?
stop. Okay, fine. I could just sit there and say, fine. You didn't ask that. Okay, I'm just going to ask you point blank. Okay, does gender affirming care reduce suicidal ideation? Yes or no?
Gender affirming care?
Yes.
If what you read is the truth, then sure, why not? But that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about
Thank
hormone
you.
blockers.
Thank you.
But I was talking about hormone blockers specifically, not gender affirming care.
Gender
Talking about
affirming
hormone
care
blockers.
includes hormone blockers. Again, that's a
But
discussion.
it's
that
not
happens.
100% of it.
That's correct.
And they don't address that
It
specific.
depends.
And they don't
It
address that
depends,
specifically.
Right? Again, it is a discussion.
There's not enough studies.
between the doctor and the
I need
patient.
data. I need the data. There's
What?
not enough data.
You don't
dude.
care about
There's-
the data. I gave you the data.
There's not enough. There's not enough data. Like I
What?
said,
Do you need another study?
Like
It doesn't
when I
matter.
told you I went to the future and saw the long-term effects, you know, I'm just telling you that I don't know anything about the long-term effects, right?
Yeah.
Just like, and nobody
Yeah,
else knows
like
what
the,
the long-term effects are either.
Like the what was it? The you think that could also be the case for like the vaccine? You think there's going to be some long-term effects there?
Yeah, there will be. Well, it's been what, 4 years? You don't think down the line they won't eventually come to find something? Oh shit, this is because of that.
No, I don't.
All right, yeah, you don't. I mean, you can go ahead and think that. I think there's no long-term effects to things, but all right.
But I'm sure you, with your advanced medical degree, are absolutely well equipped enough. How many books about transgenderism have you actually read?
I'm not reading any because I don't. Like to read
You
kid
don't want to
stories.
read a fucking
I
single
don't- I'm
one,
not
do
re- I'm
you?
not
But
reading
they're all
I'm
wrong.
not reading kid stories. I'm not reading kid stories. All right. I don't go to the fantasy section at Barnes and Noble when I want to read a book.
Have you ever? I'm just going to show you a picture, and give me a sec. Hold on. Give me one moment. I just want you to look at this picture and tell me what you think. Do you have my stream up?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. You should have my stream up. Okay, I'll provide it though for everybody inside chat as well. But yeah, you should look at my stream. Anyway, this describes you perfectly. It is a perfect description of you right now.
I didn't see none of this. What I'm saying in a YouTube video.
Here's the problem, right? You haven't read a single book on transgender topics.
I don't
Right.
need to.
You haven't read an endocrinology book. You haven't read a biology book. You haven't read anything on the psychology nor the sociology. None of them.
I don't
You haven't
need
read a
to.
single book, right?
Why do I have to
But
do this
you
when I live out
stand
in this place we
front
call
of
reality?
thousands and thousands of scientists and say you are all wrong, which is exactly what
That's not
you're
all of
like
them.
in this
Because it's
picture
not all of
here.
them. Because it's not all of them.
No, it is. It kind of is.
It's not every
That's the
scientist.
problem.
That is not-
no, it's
that
a
is not
grand
every
majority of
scientist in
scientists. Yeah, this is ridiculous. You
No,
got
it's
anything
not,
else,
because
man?
this is
I don't know, man. This ain't it.
Because
This
no,
ain't it,
you're-
fam.
because,
You're too much.
I'm too much, bro.
Yeah,
You're the
you're
one
too
over
much.
here just throwing shit
I'm
out
the
there,
one that
like-
is spitting the facts, and
You're
you're
not
the one
spitting
that
any
just
facts,
ignores all facts and go, yes, scientists, you are all wrong. You're literally disregarding 5 different fields of science and saying it's all wrong.
So saying that there's going to be long-term effects in the future from something that we literally
You
only
don't
did
know
4 years
that.
ago.
You're not read on the topic.
Neither you. How do you know that there isn't going to be?
Oh, now I'm getting linked heritage. Hold on. I gotta read this heritage article. Hold on. I wonder if the Heritage Foundation has any
Yeah,
vested
you're
interest.
not.
This is
You're
hilarious.
You're not respecting my time right now. I'm trying to on stage trying to talk to you.
Trust me. I am. No. So here's the thing, right? I did give a study on gender affirming care, which would also include hormone blockers.
But you also didn't give me a study for that specific thing I was asking for.
What?
Which
So
was
you think
children
if
and
I
hormone
grabbed
blockers.
specifically regarding hormone blockers, that all of a sudden you would completely change your mind? If I sat there and I did that homework and I discovered the very thing you're talking about, would you change your mind?
It's not going to show any difference in the suicide rates, bro. But that's the thing you're not understanding.
No, it does, because I showed you gender affirming care, and I guarantee you that I would find that care regarding hormone blockers.
You're not
Well,
gonna
because
find it,
hormone blockers and gender affirming care, those are the same thing. So yes, I will find the same thing. No, but my question to you is, what if I do get it for you, right? What if I spend the time to go look for it? No, I'm asking you, if I found it, would you change your mind?
Go get it.
I am asking you, if I found it, would you change your mind?
When I get it and I read it and you present it to me, I'll make up my mind then. Until then,
right,
you ain't doing nothing.
I'll find it for you. Let's
Go
find
right
it together, shall we?
No, I'm not looking for it, bro.
Let's find it. Here we go. I'm going to look for it, okay? Give me a moment.
Hey, as much time as you want, bro. I gotta go check on my kid anyway. I'll be right back.
Sure thing. Give me 1 second. All right, everybody. We're just gonna bring this up.
Busy. All right, I'm back.
Let me just start off by saying, is the NIH, the National Library of Medicine, is that a valid source?
Just post a study.
Sure. Okay. On the results of the sample, 16.9% reported that they wanted that if they ever wanted pubertal suppression as a part of their gender-related care. Their mean age was 23.4 years, and 45.2% were assigned male sex at birth. Of them, 2.5% received pubertal suppression. After adjustment for demographic variables and level of family support for gender identities, those who received treatment with pubertal suppression, when compared to those who wanted pubertal suppression but did not receive it, had lower odds of lifetime suicidal ideation.
Yeah, that's not what I asked for.
What are you looking for? What do you want? What do you want from me?
Bro, like...
No, dude. You can't just go in and say, no, I didn't ask for that, when I'm literally giving you exactly what you asked for. Bro, what is going on? Dude, you're a joke. Holy shit, you're a meme. Bro, you're a... Dude.
Where's the percentage of the suicide rate? I don't see it anywhere in this...
I read it!
Like... You did not read that.
Yes,
I don't think anyone else heard you read it either. What was the rate? Where is the percentage of suicide rate?
Oh my god.
Where is the suicide rate?
Do we got to go to the methodology? Do you need
Where
the methodology?
I need the rate.
All right. Give me a moment. Sorry, give me a moment. I'll find it for you.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but you don't.
But I did give it to you.
You didn't. You never gave me no percentage of the suicide rate, bro.
Okay, the specific suicide rate, no, I did not give you a percentage, but the fact that it's lower is an indication. Anyway, I'll go ahead and let's look for the exact
There is
suicide
no
rate.
study
Percentage,
showing
if
a
that's what you want.
percentage of hormone blockers of children.
Hormone blockers, but you haven't read a single study, bro. You haven't read a single study. You haven't read any topic on this. You haven't read a single
have
book.
to.
No,
Don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah. So
I don't
you're
have
just
to, and I know there's not.
because these things make you uncomfortable,
They
right?
don't make me
and you
uncomfortable.
don't care about the facts. It doesn't matter. I'll find it though for you if it really matters that much.
And you don't either if you can't give me the study, bro. Like,
Give me a moment, okay? Holy shit, dude.
I just don't understand why you advocate
Wait,
for
this is
such
actually
things.
this is actually more crazy than I thought. All right. You're not going to like this.
I don't like anything you say, Amender, so
You're really not going to like this. So here's the table for the exact numbers that they have observed. Specifically regarding suicide ideation versus suicide ideation on a no, it appears that suicidality in the past 12 months, let's see here, it looks like the ones that got a yes were at a 50.6% under ideation, and then for the ones that
hormone
did not
blockers
was
to children?
64.8. So that is a 14.2% difference.
Is that
between
hormone blockers
yeses
to children?
and no's. Oh, he's got to move that fucking goalpost, bro. You're so
how am I moving the
cringe.
goalpost? How am I
Because
moving
you're
the goalpost?
because you asked for a study that specifically argued against your favor. Then when I showed you that, you said, "Well, where's the percentage?" I'm like, "Okay, fine. Let me
Hold
find
on,
the
let me get
percentage."
my- let me
And
get
now
my
that I have the
measuring stick.
percentage, you are now moving it to,
Yeah,
"Well, is it
goalpost is still
children?"
the same. The goalpost is still the same, bro.
Dude,
the goalpost
kill me.
hasn't
Kill
moved.
me. No, it has
Bro,
moved three
hey,
times now.
Amender, you
And
can't
anybody
violate
who's
terms of
even
service and
minorly-
advocate for people killing you, bro. That's against
What?
terms
I
of
said
service. You
kill
can't
me.
do
That's
that.
not
Yeah,
me
what?
saying to what? No.
Yes, that's
No,
death by suicide
stop.
attempt, bro. You can't be doing that.
Stop.
That's just, I don't know why you say kill me. I don't
You're
understand
not
why
going to
people-
sit there and sit there and then push your blatant transphobia that everyone can see. Say that's not a community guideline violation, and then me saying "kill me"
I'm not-
is equivalent of suicidal ideation. You're out
It
of your
is.
mind. Fuck
No,
off.
it's not, bro.
Fuck
I don't know-
off. This
I don't know why you would-
is now gross, dude. You're mental. I don't know what to tell you, dude. You're
I'm
done.
mental when you're the one telling people to kill you, and you still have not given me the damn study that I want. You say
I
just moved
did.
the goalpost.
I did. I
You
gave you the
didn't.
study.
You didn't.
You're a transphobe.
I'm not a transphobe.
Yeah, you are.
No, you're not. That's just a lame fucking way for you to try to win this, and it doesn't work on people like me, bro.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I've been waiting for the study, bro. Like, damn.
I already provided it for you. You can
I'm
either
gonna give myself
accept
a
it or
fucking
just be,
urinary
like,
tract
wrong
infection if
forever.
I don't get up and go and drain this fucking waiting for your ass. I just want a simple percentage, bro. That's all I want is a percentage of suicide rates of before and after being on hormone blockers. That was pretty crazy, Chris. Damn. I don't know what I said.
Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, man.
You don't have the study I want.
I
You just-
provided it. You moved the goalpost 3 times. I'm
I
done.
didn't
It's
move a
over.
goalpost.
Yeah, you did. When you asked for a study, so when you said, how does it reduce suicidality? I provided that. And then you said, no, I meant specific. Shut up. Shut up. You
No,
said
don't tell me to shut
specifically.
up. Don't tell me
You
to shut.
said
You're not going to tell me to
specifically.
shut up.
You said
That's just
specifically.
disingenuous,
Nope.
bro.
I am moving you to the audience. You said specifically, I want to study specifically regarding hormone blockers. Okay? That's what you said. And so they said, fine. If you think that it's not reducing suicidality among gender-affirming care and you want specifically hormone blockers, fine, I'll give it to you. I then provided that to you. And then you said, well, you didn't say the percentage. I need you to say the percentage. And then when I pulled up the percentage rates being lower, right, by, I think it was 16% or whatever, you then said, well, is it children? Okay, so that's 4 times you move the goalpost, right? You move the goalpost 4 times, okay? And so at that point, you're a transphobe, and I'm moving on.
Yo, Minder, I just want to say, like, dude, you did not answer the question that he had. Like, that ass. Like, you didn't give you did not give the specific study to what he was referring to at all. He was specifically, and the whole time I was listening to make sure, and I went back and made sure too. He specifically asked for the suicide rates of children on hormone blockers. Of children, the suicide rates is in the percentages, and none of that was displayed to him. That's what he asked. Like, you can't, you may be right that it may lower it, but you didn't give the study that specifically said that.
I did.
And if it is true, no, you did not. I went back and I read all.
Well, there. I mean, I guess like we could like pull up specifically for children. Will you change your mind then?
Well, what are you talking about? Me change my mind? I'm not saying that. I'm saying you just didn't give the study. I'm not saying I hold the same opinion. I'm just saying I can't say.
I have to find a study regarding hormone blockers on children and suicidal ideation, right?
And the suicide rates of children on hormone blockers.
Like the average age here on this particular study was like 23, right? So like we're already talking.
That's not
children aren't. Hold on, children would be included in the study.
Yeah, but that's not specific to children. We're talking about children. Where you was advocating for children under the age of 17 taking hormone blockers.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm referring to. That's what I disagree with. I don't think that should be a thing.
All right, let me go ahead and find that as well. Just for
fun. I want the suicide rates of children on hormone blockers, and by suicide rates, I want percentage. Because supposedly the trans community is 80% suicide rates. Is that a correct statement or an incorrect statement?
Hang tight. Just give me a moment, okay? I'll find it.
You do at least have to understand where I come from in regards to like.
But I'm telling you.
No, do you understand like how? Well, do you understand that it is at least? I've personally tried to do this own research, like my own research on this, and I was not able to find the suicide rates for children on hormone blockers. And by suicide rates, I'm referring to the percentage. I was not able to find that. That's concerning, because that should technically be something that I feel that we're doing more studies on in general, right? Since we're giving it to our children to prevent them from what we're referring to.
It could just be like that. There's a lack of information on that particular portion, but like we have observed like hormone blockers and the effects of it. Like I don't like the suicidality definitely does go down, but I don't know if one has been done specifically for children. You're asking for something very, very, very specific, right?
Well, because that's what you're advocating for.
Yes, because the studies show that it works, right?
But I don't know
as
that it
far
works
as like a study specific to children, I don't see how like it would be like radically different for children than it would be for potentially like somebody who's 16, 17, 18. Do you consider 16-year-old children? Like, I don't know.
Well, yes. Anybody that under the age of 18.
My study did include children, so.
Well, it did, but it didn't just hold true to just children. It also went out of the boundary of children. If you're going to advocate for something in regards to children, it should be specific to children, not anything outside of it.
Okay, well, it's including large
If you're not
sample
if
set.
you're not able to find it, that's fine, and I'll drop. But I just want to make it clear that that's what he was asking for, and that is not necessarily what that was received.
No, he had asked 4 separate things, moving the goalpost over and over. And then when I found it every single time asking him to solidify his point, he then moved his goalpost to the point of children. But yeah, I do like what you're arguing.
But do you think that this would be a important thing to have on hand to be able to support that claim?
Getting a specific thing live on
regards to
stage,
suicide
that is a
rates.
very, very, very specific metric that you are requesting. That sounds a little bit
I'm not-
unreasonable.
no, I'm not- I'm
that
not
sounds
saying
unreasonable.
I'm not saying shit on. I'm not saying.
But no,
shit
I'm
on
not.
you
I'm
for
not going to
having
have it straight away. Every single statistic. I'm sorry.
Aminder, you're taking it out of context. I'm not saying shit on you for not having it. I'm saying shit on the people for not researching that specifically. Like that should already had been
Well,
researched, and that should already
American
be.
has already
on top of the
admitted.
chart.
American has already admitted that he hasn't read a single thing on this study.
But I have.
Right? What have you?
Well, I mean, part of it, and not a single thing is regarding
Right.
what I specifically.
How do you
have the
feel
question on.
about how? Okay, what is the current medical consensus on dealing with gender dysphoria?
What does this? What does this have to do with the?
You've read on the topic. I'm
Okay, so
asking
you're
you,
are
very
you referring
basically,
to children?
What is
for
the
children?
current? What is the current medical consensus on treating gender dysphoria?
For treating them? So it has to. Well, are you regarding children or adults? Because we're
It
talking about
doesn't.
children.
Both children and adults.
Okay, so for children, I would assume that they would have to go. It would have to go through the therapist, the parents or
called?
guardians.
What's that called?
What do you mean? What's that
What's
called?
that called?
Well, I don't know the question that you asked. What is what called?
Gender affirming.
Yeah, gender affirming care. Yes, I get that.
Right. Do you think a politician should stop that?
That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for the ability to. I think that they should have some forms of gender affirming care
Do you
under
think
the
a
age
politician
of 18.
should stop that?
Can I finish my statement? In regards to the 90% that you mentioned earlier, in regards to all they need is a social change, I would agree with that. They should be able to have that. So, and that fits under the categorization of affirming care. So I would say no, they shouldn't stop that. But I do stop it at the fact
Right.
that they're
So
giving
you're in favor of
hormone
gender
blockers.
affirming care, including for minors.
But I disagree with everything that comes with that in regards to hormone blockers being given to children without proper studies being done, such as the suicide percentages of children after they take these hormone blockers.
Well,
if
it's
not,
lower.
if it's
So,
well,
like,
how do
here's
we
the
know
thing,
it's
right?
lower? There's no
Well,
fucking
so
percentage.
Actually, I think what you're asking for might not actually be possible to exist, because you're talking about that they have to study these children for an X period of time, and if they are a child, at the beginning, right, they take hormone blockers, and then after like 5 years, they're no longer a child, and then they studied like whether or not that their suicidality had increased or decreased. Yeah, actually, it's impossible to have a study that would have exactly what you're looking for. Yeah.
So you would agree that there is no study, and based off what he said, you did not give the correct study for
Yes, I did.
specifically
Yes,
what
I
he
did.
asked for.
I gave multiple instances
was you
of the,
able to give a
of the
study
correct information.
specifically for what I asked for? You're not able to do that.
It doesn't
Is that
exist.
correct?
No, it would
Okay,
not
okay,
exist
okay.
under basis that you have to study them for an X period of time as a child. By the time that you have your study, they are now adults. So the very fact that the average age is 23 in this would be literally studying children as they grow up. Yes.
Okay, so I guess that ends it. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a study specifically for what I was asking for. All right, thank you.
I don't know if he thinks that was a gotcha. That's really dumb. I'm curious as if Boss Clips would say that, well, we don't actually know the half-life of U-235, right? Because we've never been alive for 4.5 billion years to determine The half-life. Maybe it just like radically changes at the end or something. Maybe he's a young earther, or a young earth creationist. It's freaking ridiculous.